If dreams die, rely on yourself and no way. Believe.
Good morning. Hopefully, everyone's doing well. First off, I want to give my condolences to the families that have lost children down there in Nashville. Um, I also want to say something about the perpetrator that I don't think many people are willing to say. Um, that was a mentally deranged and confused female. I think we need to stop playing into the nonsense of this term transgender. It does not exist. That is stupid. It is unnatural. It's unreal. It's a lie. You cannot transition from any gender to another. You are mentally deranged or possessed. Plain and simple. You have mental problems or you are possessed by a demon that makes you believe a lie. And in believing that lie, you harm others, in this case, children. And whatever end you meet, you have met. I do not for once feel sorry for the end that she met. I cannot. Everyone has a choice. I said what I said. This has gone on long enough, and I think we on the mentally straight and sober side have played into this game long enough. There is no such thing as a transgender. You're just following your daddy Satan, who just happens to be who we're talking about today. So, what can I learn from the devil? What can I learn from the devil? Now, the topic may seem a little bit um, odd or off or even different, and it is. It is different. Because I think a lot of the times we are looking at the devil and we assign to him a whole bunch of things. Um, and I think it's in an effort to alleviate ourselves of our own decisions. But many of us grew up hearing the term, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. The devil tempts me. And when we say that, it's usually after we've given into something, after we've done something, or we have a specific behavior that we are reluctant to let go of because the devil's making you do it. So let's talk about what the devil can teach you. Now, I came across a video of a person saying that God created the devil. And I kind of have a problem with the statement simply because you're suggesting that he created evil. And I want to make sure we get this cleared up before we move forward with this topic. It's like parents who have a child and the child grows up to be a mass murderer and having done nothing to the child. There was no abuse. The parents just had rules and the kid didn't like it and grew up to rebel. It's like saying those parents made a mass murderer. No, Decisions made by that child made them into a mass murderer. He created Lucifer. He became the devil. He became the devil. Straight disobedience made that. The wanting to usurp authority made him that. God didn't create evil nor the devil. The absence of God is the presence of evil. That's the first thing you can learn about the devil, is that you'll be closer to him the further away you are from God. The more distance you put between yourself and the Heavenly Father, the closer you are to the devil. Rule number one, stay close to God. The second thing you can learn about the devil is that he loves to come close to you when you isolate. When you isolate, he loves to show up. Now, the choice you make about withdrawing, that's on you. When Jesus withdrew, when he was about to be tempted, because he had to be put through that in order to fulfill what he was going to fulfill on the cross. Just be clear about that. He took 40 days to tank up, to fill up, to be close to be inundated with the Father. And by the time the temptations of Satan showed up, it had no power over him. Zero. But the devil will try to isolate. You ever get this feeling where you want to just withdraw? You don't want to be around nobody. You want to be by yourself. I got news for you that the devil loves that. Many of us withdraw not to find solitude with God. Many of us withdraw because we're done with people. We're just done with people. We just want to be apart. You don't isolate to fast. You don't isolate to pray. You just isolate. He loves that. He loves that. Because it's shown in the very first encounter with man. He directly isolated and spoke to the woman. He didn't address Adam, he addressed Eve. And what he will do is he will use very specific words. Very, very specific words to make sure that you listen. Very specific words. In fact, he will use truth to make you listen. That's the other thing you can learn from the devil, is that he knows truth. He chooses lies, but he knows truth. In order for something to come across as a lie, there has to be a truth. There has to be a counter. And for someone to consistently lie, they have to know what the truth is, but choose to tell you something else. He is a master at that. He is a master because he's the father of lies. But in order to be that, he has to know every ounce of truth, and he does. And he does. And he will use every bit of that truth and twist it in a way that will make complete sense as a lie. In Genesis 3, God said, "You're going to die if you eat that." He says you will die if you eat that tree. I've heard some people say, well, God lied to Adam because he ate the tree and didn't die. We are all on a journey of death. Every day we are a step closer to death. The instant we are born, in fact, the instant we are conceived, we are on our way out already. Everything we are born into, the concept of death. Every time. When he said don't, and you did, the punishment indeed got enacted. I heard someone also say, well, they've been eating of the tree of life that whole time. No, they were not. They had never touched it. If they had partaken of the tree of life before they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that's where they would have stayed. If they had eaten of the tree of life after they had done it, that's where they would have stayed. They didn't touch it. Now, the devil told Eve, you're not going to die. In fact, what he said, you're not going to surely and certainly die. Like I said, very specific words. He knows that the way you said something about certain and specifically you will, the mind would think instantaneously. And they ate and they didn't die. And there are people who will say, see, Jesus lied. God lied. Look at that. Go figure. He lied. Death entered that day. Death entered that day. Satan was conniving enough, and people were dumb enough. The other thing to know about the devil is that no matter what he does, he can't do more than God. No matter what he does, he cannot do more than God. He, he can't. Now, if you have um, I'm gonna be right. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of somebody out the room here real quick. We have a Satanist in here, and I don't really want that energy in here. Perfect. Good. So he can't do more than God to the point where he has to actually get permission. Now, we know of one example of in Job. And if you listen carefully to what happens, it's kind of reminiscent of the garden. You'll hear me when I say, listen. In Job 1, one day the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. Where have you come from? Said the Lord to Satan. From roaming through the earth, he replied, and walking back and forth in it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him, a man who is blameless and upright, who fears and shuns evil. You ever realize that God has a very interesting sense of humor. You may not think it's a sense of humor, but it's quite hilarious when you think about it. Um, you have an all knowing God, just like in the garden. When he showed up in the garden after Adam and Eve did what they did, knowing full well where they were, what did he ask? Where are you? Adam, where are you? He knew exactly where he was. He was waiting for a response. Where are you? Let's see if your guilt will keep you from speaking to me. Let's see if what you just did has gone far enough to where you will stop talking to me, who you knew first. But he knew exactly where Adam was. Here he comes again. Where have you come from, Satan? He knew full well where Satan was and what Satan was doing. Now, why would God recommend Job to the devil for him to be tested? You see, what we look at God like is this, that he puts people in these situations for them to fail, or he's testing man to see man's resolve. Is he, though? Have we become so full of ourselves that we think that when he does something like that, it is for them? Because understand, the same way he knew where Satan was, the same way he knew what Job's response was going to be. So did he do it for Job, or did he do it for his own sake? We forget one main thing. God doesn't do anything for our glory. He does everything for his glory. Everything that he does is for his, not ours, his. Even if he allowed Satan into the garden to talk to Adam and Eve, it was for his glory. Period, point blank. It was to show his glory later with Jesus on the cross. Everything he allows is to show himself. And you know why he could do that? Because he's the creator. Satan, or the devil, what we can learn from him is that he cannot do anything without God say so. He can't. Yes. 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 Now, that might sound completely horrible. It does. It sounds like it's just, man, he doesn't even care whether I hurt or I'm in pain or. See what we do? We ascribe our emotional aspect to the nature of God, and the two shall never meet. They shall never meet. We have been told such a horrendous, horrendous lie about God so as to put him in the same boat as mankind. And the devil is the one that first put out that memo. And we ran with it. You know what else we can learn from the devil? He has an agenda too. He has an agenda. He has an agenda. And that agenda is to discredit God. If he can put God in the minds of man as just a thing that craves the attention of mankind, he's won. If he can do that, he wins. A simple, small lie about the nature of God and who he is a win for the devil, especially when echoed by humans. We take God is love to he loves you even in your. He loves you even in your sin. He loves you in spite of, not in it, in spite of. And he wants you out of it. There is a massive difference between loving somebody in their thing and in spite of. Massive difference. The devil, what else you can learn about him is that he is one of the most cunning things out there. Cunning. Now, is the devil going to torture you for eternity in hell? How many of you have heard that the devil will torture you for eternity in hell? Anyone heard that? And you ever been told that the devil will torture you for eternity? How? How? And why? How is he going to torture you in a place that he doesn't even want to be? He ain't gonna be the captain and king of nothing. He's gonna be there just like the rest of y'all that don't want to follow, burning with them. It's his end, not for him to reign, not for him to have fun down there with a bunch of souls. That's his end too. That's his end too. It's not for him to have another kingdom, to have a bunch of souls that he rules over for eternity. Hell is there for him, his angels, and those that follow him. They're all going to be there doing the exact same thing, separated, confined, gone. Devil ain't going to be in charge of nothing. It'll be his complete demise in hell. He ain't going to be in charge of nothing. That's what else you can learn from the devil. He will not be in charge of anything. The same way he's not in charge now of God's people, he's not going to be in charge then. He has full reign to walk all through the earth, given by God. Have at it. Because in order for you to choose, you have to have a choice, right? You have to have a choice. Your choice is this: you follow the devil or you follow God. You know what I love about people's questioning? You can't have a choice if you only have two choices. That's a choice. People want Baskin Robbins in their choices. They want 52 flavors. Why do you think it was so easy for them to come up with all these ridiculous genders? Why? The devil gave them an illusion of choice. All they did was choose one evil versus a good. You're just choosing self over God. There is no hundreds of choices. It's just one of two. You're dumb enough to believe that you have multiple choices. That's on you. That's if you want to be that stupid. That's like asking me how many ways you want to die. I only have one choice of two: live or die. You asking me how I want to die versus live has zero to do with it. If you tell me you kidnap me, do you want to live or do you want to die by knife, gunshot, run over, thrown over a cliff, burn, acid bath? Which would you pick? You have all these choices. No, I don't. I have two choices: live or die. The devil will give you a whole illusionary choice bag and make you think, oh, I have all these options in life. You have no options in life other than live for God or die with the devil. Those are your two choices. Like it or not your choice to make, whether it's more than two. There's only two: follow God or follow the devil. That's all you got. You didn't create the rules. You don't get to complain. God did it. I'm sick and tired of people trying to make this as though we have all these. Oh, I can make my own. No, you can't. No, you can't. No. When he said it was simple, it's very simple. Very simple. Either you're following God or you're not following God. And expect the demise or the reward. That's you. Pick. Call it an ultimatum all you want, but you're only calling it an ultimatum because you don't like the choices. You know full well that if you pick the other one, you don't really want to go to hell, but you love the stupid stuff you do. And you would want nothing more than for God to say, do all the stupid stuff you want. I'll still let you into heaven. I will still take you no matter what you do. I'll take you. In fact, I will take you and then, whew, you could do what you want. I will take you and you can go sin all you like. That's what we want. We love to have our cake, eat it, and go back for seconds. I am here to tell you, contrary to popular belief, you do not have multiple ways to God. You don't have multiple options in life. You don't get to pick and choose. You have two choices. There is a fork in the road and only two tributaries: following God, following the devil. And down the path of the devil, he will give you all kinds of things that you would love to do with your flesh. It is not a secondary choice compared to God, and a tertiary choice compared to God, and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth choice compared. It is all on one path. When you follow God, he has multiple jobs for you to do along that path. The two roads never meet. They start here where you are, and you pick one or you pick the other. It is really that simple. The devil will give you the idea that you have multiple ways to live your life, and all of them are good. You're happy, aren't you? Isn't that what you really want to be is happy? Did God really say? I can also learn this from the devil that in my effort to maintain what I want, I will aim to become God. In my effort, that's what I will do. I want control, so I will become God in my own mind. I am God. You want to know how it can be borne out in reality? I'm going to show you something here, real quick. I had to block this person already today, but what they said has multiple bearings to this topic. Multiple bearings to this topic. Normally, I say that it is always borne out when I talk about something. There's always an example that comes forward in the chat. This was one. So now, this is not in an effort to prop this person up, but I want you to understand how the devil really functions in the real world. And to give people the concept that they're doing something that's so revolutionary and groundbreaking and truth offering. This is so full of crap because God is not love. He is compassion and love, the highest form of love. Do you see the confusion yet? Hell is when you lose your conscious mind and you like mindless sheep. Christian God is Sakra, Beelzebub, the devil. This talking about violence is BS, fear tactic. Pray nothing but your higher self you can trust. Blow it up a little bigger. Now, remember I said that we will try to make ourselves the arbiter of all truth and right and wrong. The devil did the exact same thing. He will replicate himself. He will replicate himself. Pray nothing but your higher self you can trust. The devil will teach you that you can be God. That's what he'll tell you. You can be God. Tell me how that worked out for the devil. Please tell me how that's worked out so far for the devil. Now, we know the end. We've been told his demise. We don't know when, but we know his demise. If I were to tell you that there's a boxing match going on, okay, and it's going to go until one person gets knocked out, unlimited rounds. However, I tell you that I know which round, who is going to get knocked out in. But I don't tell you when. But I do tell you who. So I tell you, you see, there's a blue trunks and a white trunks. The blue trunks is going to get knocked out. He's going to lose this match. And you ask me when. Said, you'll see. At just the right time, he'll be knocked out. Just the right time. You would be like, but when? Don't worry. I know when. When you see me stand up and clap, you know it's coming. When you see me stand up in the crowd and clap 3 times, he's going to go down, blam, to the floor. So just watch for me. Watch for me to stand up and clap. That's Judgment Day. Somebody in the audience knows, and it's him. I love this question. I love this question. There's a reason why I love this question because it's actually answered in full. It's answered in full in the book. And I'll show you where exactly it's answered. Okay. So let's look at where it's answered. It's answered in Revelation. Okay. And it's such a beautiful answer in Revelation. It says, I'll start at 7. War broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against a dragon and that fought back, but he was not strong enough. And they lost their place in heaven. The dragon was hurled to the ground. The ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray, he was hurled to the earth and the angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brother and sisters, who accuses them before God day and night, has been hurled down. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. You want to know how you overcome? That's how. That is how. You triumph over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of your testimony, and not loving your life so much as to shrink from death. The devil will make you believe that death is a scary thing. He will make you be convinced that the ultimate fear is death, the grave. If you can keep you thinking that, you keep away from God. But when you find out that God has conquered both death and the grave, no more fear abides in that location. That is how you overcome. I don't fear death. What you should fear is living without God. More so, dying without him. The devil wants you to believe the opposite. If you love this life so much that you try to choose everything in it to make you happy, you've already lost. It's like Adam and Eve in the garden wanting that one extra thing. They had God. Listen to this. Adam and Eve were able to hear him walk, his voice walking, and they still chose something else. Your choices are this: follow God, follow Satan. Satan will show you everything that you can have on earth and in this life, and it will yield you nothing when you die. Or you can forsake everything on this planet, everything in this life, for the sake of Christ, and end with the greatest reward, which is a presence with Him forever. In my world, there is nothing offered today that can compare with what is going to come when I can sit, stand, whatever before Him forever. Y'all can take whatever you want. Have the world, have what you want. Do what you want to do. Be a transgender nonsense, polygamy, whatever you want to do. Go feel free. Keep that same energy though. Don't cower. You say you have all these questions for God. Go ahead and ask Him when you die. Keep that same energy. Don't get all afraid by that point. Keep your spine. Keep your haughtiness. Scream it from the top of your lungs when you see Him. No, you'll be sniveling and crying and weeping and moaning, freaked out. But since that's what you want, keep it. Ain't nobody forcing you to do nothing. Those of us who want a true God to be in their corner will follow. Those of you who want yourself to be God won't. And we will overcome not by anything else but by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. And it's all coming because of the blood of the Lamb. So what then? The devil can teach you to usurp authority, can teach you to follow self. He can teach you to ignore the words of God. He can teach you to isolate without finding time with God. He can teach you all those things. And he can also teach you one very vital thing. If you don't follow God, you will lose. In the end, the devil will teach you one final, very vital lesson. If you follow him, you will lose. You will lose. We live alongside people who follow demons and are filled with them. You're in, not of, remember? In it, not of it. We live among it all day. But your focus shouldn't be on them. Your focus should be on God. If he sends you by his might to cast something out, go by his might, not by what you think you can do. Go by his might. He has to direct you to something. You don't just go direct yourself. My greatest advice is to be so filled that nothing else has any pull on you. Be so filled with the Spirit that nothing else has pull or sway on you. Do not even entertain time alone with the devil. Do not isolate yourself like Eve did. Do not allow yourself to be taunted by the way Judas was. Don't. Tomorrow we'll be going back into Revelations, ironically, for the mortally wounded beast head. And then on Thursday, pornography and women. If I would encourage anyone to get on board to definitely share that one, share that one. Share that one. Because it's not going to be the kind of pornography most people think. But trust and believe me, it may have a stronger hold on you than you think. It may have a stronger hold on you than you think. So just come prepared for that on Thursday. As for tomorrow, the mortally wounded beast head in Revelation 13. You can read it if you want ahead of time. Perfect. 31's a good number. It's a very good number. Today's what? Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. There will be no Patriots Day. Obviously, that's on Wednesday. Before I leave here, I want to make sure we play this quick commercial because we got to keep reminding people that this is something we do now. So I'll be right back after this break.
Hey you, would you like Too Strong to promote your product or your social media platform? We have over 200,000 subscribers and followers combined. We'll promote your product or channel in the beginning of our live show. You can also provide us a link and we'll put it in our comment section forever. Get started today. All you have to do is email us at toostrongpodcast@gmail.com. Any and all promotions are subject to approval by Fair Media.
There you go. Make sure you all send in. We have a couple of people that have already sent in stuff. So feel free to send in anything else you might want to advertise your business, all that good stuff. Someone said I should put my whole address in here. So I'm going to edit this. So you have the whole thing. That is the PayPal, Cash App options at the bottom there. And then for those who want to send anything via mail, this is how you write it. My name at P.O. Box 5627. Okay. If, however, please write this down. If, however, you want to send me a package of any kind, you have to put a secondary address on there before the P.O. box. It's too much to put in this little ticker. So I want you to write this down if you have packages. Grab a pen, paper, write it down, put it somewhere that you're not going to lose. If you have something larger to send it with my name, under my name, 1050 Maple Street, and then the P.O. box. My name, 1050 Maple Street, as in maple syrup, Maple Street, and then the P.O. box number underneath it. That will get you the package to me and not be misplaced or held up or sent back. So just so you know, that's the most efficient way to do it. If you must email and have questions, concerns, derogatory remarks, you can send those to straighttalkmb@outlook.com. straighttalkmb at outlook.com. In the meantime and in between time, y'all have a grand rest of the day. Tonight on Too Strong, we will be talking about a Harvard law professor writing about grooming children from as little as 3 years old and teaching them that they are sexual beings. So we'll be talking about that, going through the whole letter and the whole article, so you can understand just how far-reaching this thing is. Again, love you guys. Have a grand rest of the day. I will see you back on the Fair Media group with Too Strong tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, wisdom calls to you from the street. Please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself in no way.